Mr. President, hi. Ayşe, Süberker from TRT. Welcome to Turkey. Mr. President, this is your first official visit to Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. Could you make an overall evaluation about your contacts in Turkey, and have them been productive so far?
Firstly, I have to stress that I had a meeting with President Gül. It was not our first meeting, but it was first official meeting in Turkey. It was very interesting and very successful because we summarized relations between Turkey and Croatia, and really excellent. And the conclusion is that we can do better in the field of economy, investments, cooperation in tourism, and the other areas of economy. Then we discussed situation in Southeastern Europe, Balkans, and both stressed that we have common interest to make this area stable and that we have possibilities and tasks to ensure stability and peace in the region. Especially our interest was focused to Bosnia and Herzegovina and necessity to establish efficient government, representative government, capable to fulfill requirements for NATO and the EU.
I'll get back to the stabilization process of the Balkans, of course, and Southeast European countries and the cooperation. But Turkey and Croatia have started the negotiations talks with the European Union at the same time. But so far you have closed 28 of 35, and your membership will hopefully be finalized in June. Could you tell
Not membership, but negotiations.
Yes, yes. Could you tell us about your experiences, your difficulties, especially the difficulties you faced with your neighbors?
Of course, it was not easy. We had to perform very important reforms. It was an important task for the government, especially in the field of judiciary and economy. We still miss some reforms in the field of judiciary and economy, especially subsidies are very important. We have to regulate it in the same manner as a European system. Our relations towards neighbors are, of course, very sensitive because we had war, and the most important for our European future was a border dispute with Slovenia, because Slovenia is a member country, and of course Slovenia was not willing to sign any agreement or any assessment without resolving the problem. Finally found, I think, the just solution. The dispute is not resolved, but we signed a special agreement on arbitration. Yeah. And arbitration will decide on our borders. Both states, both parties agreed upon the system that will be applied. We have also some border disputes with the other neighbors, but that's not so important matter for our European membership. But we have quite clear position. We are going to resolve our border disputes peacefully, and if not possible by negotiations, we will find some arbitration or we will approach International Court of Justice.
Do you fear Slovenia could veto your membership?
No, I don't think so. We signed agreement, and I believe our friends are good neighbors. We have very good relations now, and no reason for it.
Okay, if we get back to the future of Bosnia-Herzegovina, a government hasn't been formed yet there, and there's a Turkey initiative also. Serbia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Croatia, and Serbia got together for the first time. How do you evaluate Turkey's latest Balkan initiatives, especially for the stabilization of Bosnia-Herzegovina?
It's very important because Turkey has really important connections to the Balkans, especially to Bosniak community in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And as an experienced country, a very powerful country, Turkey can really contribute. What's very important for all neighbors and friends, we must allow our friends in Bosnia and Herzegovina themselves to find the best solution for them and to give some advices and help, but not to interfere with their internal relations.
Do you agree with some allegations that Serbia, Belgrade supports Republika Srpska and Croatia supports Croats in Bosnia-Herzegovina and Turkey mostly supports Bosnians there? Do you agree that?
No, because of course we are supporting our community, Croatian community. Serbs are supporting Serb community in Bosnia. It's part of our constitution, but we don't want to interfere in internal matters in Bosnia and Herzegovina. This kind of support is not available to anyone. And I have to stress that all Croatian policy is just focused to ensure equality of Croats in Bosnia and Herzegovina with two other nations, the same possibility to participate in political life, and of course to support Bosnia and Herzegovina as a common state, as a state that can act efficiently to meet EU criteria and NATO criteria as well.
Are you concerned that the territorial integrity of Bosnia can be sustained?
It's unquestionable.
Unquestionable. Yes. If we get back to the Balkans, I've recently just spoken to Serbian Prime Minister, and he stressed that there is a need for a long-term sustainable solution to the Balkans, not only for Bosnia, but maybe for Serbia, for Croatia. And if we talk about your relations with Bosnia, you have some border issues and asset issues with Bosnia. What can you say about that? Because if I'm not mistaken, you want to build a bridge through Neum, through the territory.
Yeah, the bridge, it's not through Neum, it's connecting Croatian soil and Pelješac. It's half peninsula Pelješac, and that's Croatian matter. We have our territory and we can build whatever we would like to build. But of course we respect Bosniak integrity, and we would not like to interfere with Bosnian territory, and we have to resolve the territory dispute. And it's not so important for our relations. Definitely, if not by negotiations, we are going to resolve it by some arbitration or international court of justice, and it's not spoiling our relations at all.
What could you say about your relations with Serbia, because you have recognized the independence of Kosovo, which Serbia strictly opposes? What could you say? And you have also...
No, we are trying to manage this, and as many other countries that recognize Kosovo, we are trying to have good relations with Kosovo and with Serbia in the same time. And it's possible. And the example of Croatia is a good one. We have very good relations with Kosovo and better relations with Serbia as well. With Serbia, we have not only border dispute on the river Danube, but we have to resolve many consequences of the war. Especially, there are still missing persons, Croats and Serbs both, more Croats, but Serbs as well. We have this important question of justice for war criminals. No peace without justice. That's normal. And now we have good cooperation in prosecuting war crimes. There is special tribunal in Belgrade prosecuting war criminals. We have our special departments on 4 biggest courts in Croatia, and I think little by little we are doing quite good job. Then we have economical disputes, ownership, succession, and of course we have very important issue of refugees. Mm-hmm. So many Croatian citizens of Serb ethnicity went at the very end of the war from Croatia to Serbia. Many of them came back, but we still have to resolve the problem of quite a lot of people, a lot of families. Now it's not problem of security, it's not problem of ownership, but it's problem of sustainability of retirement, because it's not enough to build a building, but they have to have jobs. Even Croats and Serbs both are now unemployed, and we have quite important economical problem. Politically, everything is clear, everyone is welcomed, but of course we have to perform all conditions.
Do you believe that the Balkans will, at the end of the day, manage to leave behind their bitter experiences stemming from the war? Because you have once expressed deep regret over Croatia's meddling during 1990s in Bosnian War, and you yourself have received some reaction within from your country. You're a leader who looks like wants at least a consensus in that respect. But do you believe that the people really have the will to leave everything behind and reconcile?
To leave behind does not mean to forget everything, because we have to learn from the history. And the history clearly says that Milosevic's policy started the war and caused everything that happened. But we also have to remember that not only one party, but all parties perform war crimes, and we have to have some kind of sorrow for all victims from all sides. That's very important. Of course, those people who suffered, whose members of family were killed, cannot forget it. But we have to live with this. We have to build the situation that there is some kind of cooperation, important cooperation, that we can believe to each other, that we can build better economical relations, cultural relations, and everything. And if you compare situation in relations between Croatia and Serbia, Croats and Serbs in Croatia and between states, then if you compare today, present situation with 5 or 10 years ago, the difference is really really important and significant. And I'm proud that we are capable to overcome everything that happened during the war and to build some better future for our kids.
But in January, Tihomir Pudra was arrested in Bosnia, and his extradition to Serbia is being discussed, and also war veterans just took to the streets and protested against it. What would you say about it?
Nothing. It was resolved. It was resolved. These accusations against Croatian veterans were produced during Milosevic's period, and now we are resolving it. We are cleaning the files.
But Serbia accuses Purda of war crimes. Do you agree?
Yes. But they acquitted. They acquitted this accusation because due to cooperation between Croatian and Serbian public prosecutor, the case was resolved, and it's now clear that he didn't make any war crime.
So he will be extradited to Serbia?
He's free. He's in Croatia now.
And he will not be tried again?
No.
So how about Serbia's efforts to arrest the war crime criminal, especially Ratko Mladic? He is still at large.
It's important, of course, to find all especially important war criminals, alleged war criminals, and that's the duty of Serbia. Definitely on their way to Europe, they will convince the international community, especially Europe, that they're doing everything possible to arrest him.
And if we get back to Kosovo, how do you see Kosovo's future? Because over 20 European Union member countries recognized it, 75 countries recognized it, but not all of them. So can it be integrated into the European Union?
Of course, not soon, but sooner or later. And what's very important now, negotiations between Kosovo and Serbia started, and little by little they will resolve their dispute, and at the very end of the story they will be both member of EU.
And again, Croatia and Turkey, as I mentioned before, started the negotiations in 2005. What do you think Turkey lagged so that behind?
Of course, Turkey must also perform all significant reforms, but that's not the problem, the biggest problem. The problem is that Turkey and Europe has some cultural, historical, religious differences, and I think both, especially Europe, need some time to understand that differences in culture, in region, in future Europe must be accepted, that is richness making Europe really a really good society. So I'm convinced that after some time this procedure will be finished.
Do you believe some EU countries act as if the European Union is only a Christian club?
No, of course not. Croatia is also an example. We have most of Catholics in our country, but we have a significant Muslim community, we have Orthodox, we have Jewish people, we have even Hindu people living in Croatia. So I think the Europe as an open society, a secular society, must be capable to accept differences.
Once you're in the club, how will your position be placed towards Turkey, since we know the attitudes of Germany and France and some other countries? Would you support Turkey?
We started together, and I think we have a final common goal, and it will be fulfilled sooner or later.
Mr. President, thank you for your time.
Thank you very
much. Oh, thank you.
We have a tight schedule.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take